Okay, so we are recording. Good morning, everyone. Today is October 14th, 2022. The time is now 10 a.m. This is the Student Advisory Committee meeting on behalf of the Board of Regents for Higher Education. Can everyone hear me okay? Can I just get a thumbs up? Yes, great. Okay, so welcome everyone. As I had mentioned, my name is Angelo Simoni. I serve as the Executive Director for Student Relations and Compliance for the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities, and I serve as the advisor to the Student Advisory Committee. Today is our first meeting of the semester, officially. As you can see, we're here on WebEx. This will be the official platform that we use for these virtual meetings, although maybe as time goes on in the near future, we'll be able to do a hybrid format for these meetings so that we can see some folks in person. We have several people on the call today, and we have a few agenda items to go through. The main, most important one being the elections to get our chair, our vice chair, and our secretary appointed and in line so that we're able to, have the membership on the Student Advisory Committee as needed. So. Welcome and introduction. So we have a lot of folks on this call. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier is I have a roster of everyone that is RSVP to be here. Let me pull that up. And if I just call your name, if you're able to just, identify that you're here on behalf of which school. And we can go from there and do attendance that way. So you will need to unmute yourself and then just go ahead and remute yourself if you can. So from CCSU, we should have Joshua Edson. Joshua, are you here?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Oliver Driscoll from ECSU.
Here.
And then we have Alexander Grant, Southern.
Yep, I'm here. Good morning.
Kyle Saxton, are you here as well, the alternate from Southern?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning, thank you. Okay, the two representatives from Western, Izan Khan, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Is the representative from Western here? Okay. And the alternate for Western. So Western, not here, okay. Kimberly Shropshire from ACC, I think I saw on my name board. You're here?
Here.
Good morning. Sam, the alternate from Ms. Nuntuck.
Here.
Thank you. We have Alina Wheeler from Gateway Community College. Are you here?
Alina, yes, I am.
Thank you. The representative from Capital Community College. Cheyenne.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Thank you. I have Tommy McMichael from Housatonic.
Yep, I'm here.
Tommy from Housatonic. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Is the alternate from Housatonic here as well? Maeve Hogan from MCC.
I'm here.
Good morning. Venetia from Middlesex.
I am here. Good morning.
Good morning. Naugatuck Valley Community College representative. Anali Rivera.
Here.
Good morning. Luis Sanchez from Northwestern Community College.
I'm here.
Good morning. Julia Mesquita from Norwalk. Faye Killingsmith from Quinebaug Valley Community College. Safira Dorlis from Three Rivers Community College.
Morning, I'm here.
Good morning. And then Nicholas Hernandez from Tungus Community College.
I'm here.
Thank you. Is there anyone on the call that I did not name who's a student that is with us today. If you can unmute yourselves and just say your first and last name and what institution you're with, that would be helpful.
Hello, good morning. My name is
Good morning.
Jamesy Gillis from Housatonic Community College.
Thank you.
MC is the alternative.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anyone else on the call that's a student that I did not recognize? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. It's great that we have so many alternates with us here at the meeting today. Just for a point of note, only the regular member, if they're present at the meeting, can vote on any student activity committee related business unless the regular member, the regular appointee is not available to attend the meeting. So we can't have people double voting. So just please keep that in mind as we go through the agenda today. So with that being said, let me just pull up the agenda. So we have welcome introductions. We're going to talk about the SAC elections and related information, the Student Advisory Committee schedule, a little mention on tuition and fees, and then hopefully adjourn to give you some time back on this lovely Friday morning. Only for this meeting is it my position to kind of run this meeting. You know, once we have our chair and vice chair elected, they'll be the ones taking the lead on creating the agendas for the meeting, the topics of discussion, any issues that they want to work through on behalf of this group with this group. Really, this first meeting is just to get things up and running, and then hopefully I will fade into the limelight and provide support and assistance as needed. Generally speaking, the Student Advisory Committee meeting, this meeting right now, occurs monthly at 10 a.m. They generally go for about 60 to 75 minutes, depending on the agenda and what the topics are, and they're usually led by the chair and the vice chair of the Student Advisory Committee. The Student Advisory Committee, as you might have learned in the email that I sent out previously, is a composition or a compilation of our 17 CSCU institutions. So we have our 4 state universities, we have our 12 community colleges, and then we have Charter Oak State College, which is the state's online learning college. Each of your local SGAs appointed you or elected you, hopefully, to the Student Advisory Committee, which is why you're all on the call today. And you are the representative voice on behalf of your local campus institution. So issues, concerns, compliments, feedback, other points of information will be brought back to the Student Advisory Committee on behalf of your local institution. So you are serving as that representative. This year, the Student Advisory Committee leadership, the chair will come from one of our state universities. It rotates yearly or every other year to allow for equal measure of the community colleges in Charter Oak and also our state universities providing leadership to the Student Advisory Committee. So this year we are on a state university rotation with the vice chair coming from a community college or Charter Oak. For the secretary, they will come from any of our constituent units, and that will compose the leadership group of the Student Advisory Committee. Now, the chair and the vice chair also sit on the Board of Regents. They're a voting member on the Board of Regents, which is important because those two folks are the representative voice for all of the students across the 17 institutions. So they definitely hold an important role in the information that they share on behalf of this group and the campuses with the Board of Regents. I know is invaluable and very important. And it's very important for us to have student voice on the Board of Regents. So these meetings typically monthly when school is in session and when the board meets at 10 a.m. The Board of Regents meetings generally occur monthly, generally when school is in session on Thursdays at 10 a.m. So when I put out the call for interest for the chair and the vice chair and the secretary, it looks like we got some feedback that we have one person that's interested in running in each of those positions. So as opposed to this being a vote and election type of situation, since we only have one candidate for each one of the roles, what I'm going to do is have those folks give a short statement or speech, tell us a little bit about themselves, what they'll do for the Student Advisory Committee, and really allow you all to ask any questions of them that might be helpful, for you to help to get to know them better. I will say that we're kind of a little late to the game. It's already October 14th, so we have a board meeting next week, and I really want to make sure that the Student Advisory Committee is as productive and, this work is as meaningful as possible, kind of, starting later. For those of you that might be wondering why we're starting so late, we rely at the system office on the local campus SGA elections to populate this committee. And some of our institutions have not done their local Student Government Association elections until, late September. So if there's any feedback that I might have that you want to bring back to your SGA presidents and folks, if you're able to do elections for the Student Advisory Committee role earlier or even in the spring for the upcoming year, that would be helpful in getting this group up and running earlier than October. But with that being said, are there any questions before we get started with the folks that are going to talk to us a little bit about why they're interested in the roles that they are? You can unmute yourselves or raise your hand. I'll try to monitor the chat, but if you all can assist with that, that would be helpful as well. Okay. So for the role, as I mentioned, for chair of the Student Advisory Committee, we have Alexander Grant, who comes to us from Southern Connecticut State University. Alexander, do you want to talk to us a little bit about why you're interested in the role and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So how's everyone doing? My name is Alexander Grant, as Angelo stated. My pronouns are he, him, his. So I'm a senior at Southern, and I'm majoring in communication. And being a senior, it's kind of my last year to advocate for students. I've done a lot of different, or held a lot of different roles at Southern that involve advocating for students. I'm currently on the student government, of course, but I was the Residence Hall Association president for about 2.5 years. Which is, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much the same as SGA, but focusing specifically on residents. So we worked on a lot of different initiatives, such as like lowering the laundry costs to having a more solid system for adding roommates to rooms. So different initiatives like that residents came to me about and were like, hey, can you do something about this? So I definitely have a lot of experience advocating for students from the past, and I've definitely had to run a lot of meetings in that RHA position, so it's definitely something I'm used to as well, and I've definitely worked with a lot of different professional staff. So I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns, but that's pretty much the reason why I would like to work for this position.
Does anyone have any questions for Alex? Nick, go ahead. I think you have your hand raised.
So, Alex, I always believe that having a solid fundamental plan that you can stick by is usually what achieves the best results. So if we were to give you this position, I just kind of want to get in your head and see what you have planned, what you see that we could do moving forward in terms of meetings, in terms of planning. How would you, let's say, manage your team?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you. So in terms of running the meetings, I would definitely have like an open floor design. So essentially, we would obviously have our agenda of things we're going to talk about, but at the end of meetings, have a time that's always allotted for open floor, so that if we touched upon something that, or if we didn't touch upon something that everyone felt like we should talk about, we have the opportunity to discuss that. Because I've been to a lot of meetings where the people running the meeting kind of assume that the agenda is kind of like the only thing that we all care about, but obviously it's very easy to miss things. So I think that would be kind of the first start of my plan.
Thank you for answering my question. I'm all set now.
Someone else have a question? Okay. So for the vice chair position, we have Luis Sanchez from Northwestern Community College. Luis, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Luis Sanchez. Currently a sophomore at Northwestern Community College. My current major is liberal arts and science, but I plan to transfer hopefully to one of the state schools or UConn and pursue my psychology degree. Currently, I've been really working on creating a better environment for everyone. Due to COVID, a lot of students and the student engagement around the campus has been really limited, especially at community college. A lot of students were really hesitant to come to the school, come to the student activities that we've been making throughout the semester. So honestly, this semester our main goal has been to get as many more students involved with the school, because not only makes their school experience better, but it provides the students with a better opportunity to be more engaged with the school, and it gives them better opportunity to later on be successful. Um, so currently at Northwestern, I hold a lot of positions. We currently are running a peer-to-peer mentor program, which is set to help incoming freshman students that might need help with time management or anything like that. And I'm a mentor in that, so I got 4 students that I help with throughout the semester. Um, I also created my own club. Our school is relatively a small school, so we didn't really have anything sports related, and I feel like everyone needs a break from just doing homework and studying all day. So I feel like having somewhere to go and play a sport for, I don't know, a certain amount of time can give some people that break. So we didn't have that, so I created that. So now I'm the president of the sports club. And I'm also the treasurer at our student senate. So I have a pretty good experience of how um, how a meeting should be run. And like Alexander said, I do think that an open forum should be really important, because I think everyone's voices should be heard, and I feel like the more voices we have um, the better outcome we will have, and we'll be more inclusive with all the students around the our system. And honestly, the reason why um, I decided to run for the vice chair's position is because I think not only it would provide me with good ways to learn and improve as a person, but I feel like I could provide some pretty good help to help the overall system and make it already better than it already is.
Thank you, Luis. Does anyone have any questions for?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
And I will say, if I can, for just a second, and both candidates touched upon this in their speeches, really this group, you as representatives from the 17 institutions, drive the bus in terms of the topics and the agenda and the shared concerns or accolades that this group kind of handles. Generally speaking, because this is such a large, diverse group representing the state universities and the community colleges and Charter Oak, there needs to be some shared upon, agreement that what you're working on. So previous years, for example, one of the topics that this group, the Student Advisory Committee from previous years worked on was mental health issues on college campuses, or the COVID return to opening our campuses, or things that could be extrapolated and applied at both the universities and the community colleges to better use the resources that were available. Other things that this group has worked on in previous years are public safety. Our 4 state universities have police departments. 5 of our community colleges do, but the rest of the colleges have security. So public safety was a big concern that this group had worked on. So really the sky is the limit, keeping in mind that generally speaking, we started these meetings now, you have until really May to bring about concerns or change or information to kind of get things, moving forward in a positive direction. So really the agendas will be created by this group, by the chair and the vice chair, with input from all of you. And as long as, it's agreed upon what goes on the agenda, anything can be discussed at these meetings. These meetings are open to the public. So even though we're on WebEx right now, there'll be a link that the public, if they choose to attend these meetings, they're able to. So just keep that in mind. And again, hopefully at some point, at least before the end of the year, we'll do a hybrid meeting so that those folks who want to come in person have the ability to, but those who prefer to, participate remotely, they have that option as well. Previous to COVID, these meetings were all in person in Hartford on the Woodland Street building. So this has given us some greater flexibility virtually instead of having people travel all over the state. One other thing before I forget and before we move on to the secretary role is WebEx does have an app. So for those of you that are using smartphones or computers to log into this call as opposed to the phone, I recommend you download the app because it does make it easier to show your name, and it also show what institution you're affiliated with, so that when the names come up, we'll know where you're from, and it makes the functions in the app a little bit easier to use. So the secretary role, and this role is really that of an unsung hero. They're the ones that create the agendas that are agreed upon by this group, and then also we're required to have minutes compiled at the conclusion of meetings and posted for the public and others to be able to see. So Oliver Driscoll from Eastern Connecticut State University has expressed interest in doing this role, and if Oliver wants to unmute themselves and talk to us a little bit about who they are and Eastern and their background, that would be great.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Oliver Driscoll. I'm a sophomore at ECSU, majoring in anthropology. Sorry. So last year I was the treasurer for RHA, and this year I'm also on the BAM committee, which is budget and management. So we manage the budget and where funds go for clubs on campus and events and like shuttle payments. And I'm mainly taking the secretary role because someone needs to do it, and I feel like I can provide an adequate job of doing that.
Thank you. We appreciate your interest in running. Any questions for Oliver? Okay, so because we have one person running for each position, what I'm going to do to make this a little easier is just take a motion, a second, and then allow you all to vote in favor, oppose, or abstain for each of the three candidates, and then we can move on in the agenda and go from there. So with that being said, our chair, Alexander Grant from Southern Connecticut State University, can I get a motion to appoint him as chair of the Student Advisory Committee? All right, so we have Nick. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we're gonna go with Venetia just because I saw her hand go up first. And so Nick is the first, Venetia's the second. And then all in favor, if you could just either unmute yourself and say yay, or do your thumbs up if you're able to on the app. Okay. All opposed? And if you're opposed, if you could just unmute yourself and just say that, that would be helpful for my record keeping. And then any abstentions, and the same thing, if you could just unmute yourself, that would be helpful. Okay, this passes. Alexander Grant is our new chair of the Student Advisor Committee. Thank you, Alex, for your willingness to serve, and we are excited to have you. Okay, for the vice chair, Luis Sanchez from Northwestern Community College. Can I get a motion, please? Alex, are you raising your hand, or are you okay doing a motion? Okay, so Alex is the motion. Can I get a second? Nick is the second. Alex, Nick. This is very difficult taking notes and running this meeting. I'm very excited to have a secretary soon. So Alex, Nick. Okay, so for all in favor, unmute yourselves or go ahead and do the thumbs up so I can keep track of it. Thank you. Okay, and then all opposed, if you could just unmute yourselves and state that, that would be helpful, please. And then any abstentions, if you could just unmute yourself and state that, that would be helpful.
I'm saying for my own vote.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, this motion passes. Luis, thank you for being the vice chair of the Student Advisory Committee. All right, for the secretary role, Oliver Driscoll from Eastern Connecticut State University. Can I get a motion, please? Joshua, are you okay being I think you were saying that you were motioning, right?
Yeah, I move.
Thanks, Josh. And then second, Samuel, can you just tell me what your last name is, please? It's not showing up for me. I think you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, my last name is Fagerquist. Do you need that spelled?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
So that's F as in Frank, Agerquist.
Got it. Thank you very much. Okay, so for Oliver Driscoll, all in favor, either unmute or the thumbs up voting icon. Okay, if you can unmute yourself for all opposed and just let me know verbally, if any. And then any abstentions, if you could just unmute yourself and let me know verbally.
I abstain for myself.
Thank you. All right, Oliver is the new secretary of the SAC. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you to everyone who spoke a little bit about themselves today and their position on student issues. And I look forward to working with this entire group and making sure that whatever the goals that are developed, the system office on behalf of President Chang is supportive of that. And, we do whatever we can to help our students be successful, both in and out of the classroom. So for the SAC leadership, I will set up a separate meeting with you all just to kind of give you some logistics and orientation so that we don't throw you into the fire, just to make sure everyone knows what the expectations are and what they can expect. So we will set that up and get that ball moving. I mentioned the SAC schedule, Fridays at 10 a.m. That seems to be, generally speaking, when students have the least amount of classes. We've tried to move it around a few other times, and it really just was not advantageous. So as long as either the regular member attends or the alternate, we want to make sure that we have full representation across all the schools, just in case that there are issues that need to be voted on. We have the flexibility to do that. One thing I do want to mention, and hopefully this is not the first time that you're hearing this, because I sent out an email earlier in the week, and hopefully your deans of students and vice presidents of student affairs at our state universities have been communicating with our students, but tuition and fees were voted on at the Finance and Infrastructure Committee meeting this past Wednesday. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday at the Board of Regents. So now is the time of the year where tuition and fees for the upcoming year are considered, at least at the state universities. The community colleges has not been decided or published yet, nor has Charter Oak State College, but the state universities, those tuitions and fees recommendations have moved forward. There is a meeting on Monday at 3 a.m. via Teams with the Chief Financial Officer for the Connecticut State Colleges University. His name is Mr. Ben Barnes, and he will answer questions that any of the student leaders have at the state universities about the proposed tuition increase. So if you're able to make that call and you're from one of our state universities, I strongly recommend that you come to it. If you can't because you're in class or work or whatever the case may be, I'm okay with you sending someone else or a couple of people from your local SGA. So any student leader on the SGA is able to attend at the 4 state universities. For the community college folks, we will do another call separate with the community college people once we know what the plan for tuition at the community college is moving forward. Does anyone have any questions on the meeting on Monday for the CSUs? Does everybody know at our CSU that the tuition is being proposed to be increased next year? Yes, okay, good. So at least it's not going to be completely new news. But again, that will give you an opportunity to talk with Ben Barnes to get any questions answered or provide any feedback on the increase before the board votes on the tuition increases at the Thursday meeting next week for the state universities. Does anyone have any questions, or does anyone have any anything they want to state. That's really all that we have on the set agenda for today. Really, the main focus was the elections and getting that squared away. But I want to make sure we at least have some time for general discussion if anybody had anything. No? Go ahead, Luis. I think you raised your hand.
I just feel like for our next meeting, like we all as a collective should come up with like any suggestions about how we can improve in any way, you know, our current campus and the system as a whole. So if anyone has any idea, maybe we next time we'll have a little discussion and talk a little about that.
That's a great point. You know, and when we meet to talk a little bit about the structure of the meetings, you know, you also have the ability to request speakers come to these meetings. So, you know, let's say there's an issue on public safety or on mental health. I mean, system office leadership, President Chang, I know is very interested in coming to these meetings, at least saying hello and welcoming you. He'll be at the next meeting, I'm sure. But you do have the ability to have, you know, points of topic that are discussed by the subject matter experts in our system. So this group does have access to those folks should we, you know, decide to bring them in to get questions answered, you know, to do, you know, mini presentations, depending on what this group decides in the direction that they want to go. But that's definitely a great point. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
You did mention that there was another meeting next week. I think I kind of missed some of that information, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so are you with one of our state universities or community colleges? I can't see your name on my screen.
Community college.
Yeah, so the meeting Monday is only for the state universities about their tuition and fees increase.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
We're going to do one for the community colleges probably in November, around before Thanksgiving is when I would predict that the tuition would come out for the community colleges. It's been separate. This is the first year that finance has decided to separate the state universities and community colleges in Charter Oak, you know, their tuition schedules. So CSUs are going first.
All righty. Thank you for the clarification.
No problem. Great question. Thank you. Okay. So if there's nothing else, I'll let you all go and enjoy your Friday, and hopefully it stops raining. But thank you all for coming to the meeting today. I'm glad we have some leadership and they can take over the reins once they're good to go. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Who just said that? I'm sorry. Was that Nick?
Josh Radson from CCSU.
Josh, got it. Okay. Joshua, sorry. Got it. And then a second. Nick was a second. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be in touch soon. The next meeting is sometime in November, but we will send out that schedule that you all are aware of it. And if you didn't get my email with the WebEx invitation for today, if you could just reach out to me to make sure we put you on the distribution list. Email is really going to be the main way that we get in contact with all of you folks. But just so that you do know, for our 4 CSU people, reps, the email for Monday's meeting, the Teams invite only went to you folks. So if you want to forward that to other student leaders, you're welcome to do that, just not the general student population, only student leaders on the SGA, so that we don't have 100 people on this call. It's supposed to be smaller and more intimate than a group with 150 different students. So feel free to forward that on the CSU side to the local SGAs. I would appreciate that. All right, have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone.
All right,
Take care.
have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.